Hello everybody, CW here. This is kind of a channel update and a thank you video. Lots of stuff going on here. We'll talk about a little bit of everything. I'll tell you what's going on. Let's get the thank you part out of the way. I put a thread in one of the forums looking for data. Actually, I wasn't looking for data per se. I was, but I was looking for articles. I'm researching as much information as I can about Steve Harrett and Bob Millick about the 30 and 57 Harrett cartridges because I want to do a video on that. And I want to make sure I get everything right. I have an idea of everything, but I want to make sure I get it right so I'm not bringing out misinformation. So I posted up that I've seen these articles in the magazines. I can't remember where. I can see them in my brain, in my mind's eye. I found a couple of them online. There's another guy that helped me out online, but the files he sent, I can print them, but they're not legible. The resolution is too low and all the type is too fuzzy. I can't read it. I zoom in on the computer and it's still fuzzy. So those are the articles I want, but I can't see where they're from. I can see they're from 1981 and I can see they're from, I think what I see is Guns Magazine. I've got most every magazine from Guns from 1981 and I can't find it. So obviously it's in one of the ones I'm missing or it's in a special Guns magazine. So I'm looking some more. But one of the guys contacted me on private message and he said, I've got some data. I'll send it to you. And he sent it to me. He paid for the postage and sent it off to me. And this is wonderful. This is some older data. It's from 1982, and Hornady put it out, and silhouette load data. So it covers the 30 Harrett and the 357 Harrett, as well as the 357 Maximum, and the 41 Mag, and a couple of other really neat calibers that you don't find data for, like the 6.5 TCU, which is one I would like to have. That would be a neat one to play with, as would the 6mm TCU. Another really neat one. And there's a couple on here you may have never even heard of. These are more silhouette type loads. A 7x45 Ingram / TCU is one. The BR, the 7BR, the IMSA, the Merrill 708 you've heard of, the 30 Merrill, 30 Harrett, 30 TC, 30 full length, Maximum, Magnum, Harrett, 35 Rems, a couple of 41 mags, and the 41 mag. So there's a lot of really good data in here. It's dated because the the powders are available at the time, but sure, still it's great. It's great to have. This stuff is invaluable, and it's going to be lost unless somebody digitalizes it. So I just wanted to thank you. I'm not going to say any names, but you know who you are. I really, really appreciate it. This is awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you, thank you. And then I've been flexing my credit card a little bit. I got a notice from Midway that these gold dots, 168 gold dots that were in my video back from the 3006. This is the bullet we decided on using in the 3006. Remember, I had the 168 grain Sierra matches, so we used those to prove the loads, and then we switched over to these as the hunting load. We were using Stayball 6.5 and we got up into the 2,800 feet per second, and we were really happy with that. So I was able to get more. So I've got 5 boxes. Some of them I had left over, and then I just bought 4. Midway limited you to 2 every 2 weeks, so I'm hoping I can get one more box of 100 or one more, 2 boxes. They come 50 count. 50 count boxes. So they're only allowing 100 per person per week. So hopefully they'll still be there. I can get some. I've also got, obviously you know about the 30 Harrett. So I picked up these for the 30 Harrett. I've also got some 135 Sierras coming. I actually already got them, but the box busted open, so there's virtually none left. Midway's taking care of me, sending them out again. So I got those coming. I got these. These are the Varmint 130 grain hollow points. Let's see, one of these is open. I think I opened one of the, yeah, this one here is open. So it's just a hollow point, plain base, inexpensive varmint bullet. I thought it would be good in the Harriet. Maybe we can find use for it in the hammer as well. So I got those. 450 Bushmaster. We've been talking about that. If you're watching the chats, we talked about it in the last chat. This is the 245 grain interlock. I worked up a load with this with little gun last year. Really, really, really good shooter. I didn't hear a lot of great things about this bullet, so I hope it's wrong. But it shoots really good. So I picked up 100 of those. There's 50 count boxes as well. I picked up 100 of those. And then I went over to Cabela's locally, and they had these 395 sub X's. Now I can use my own cast for this, but I wanted to try these. So I picked up 100 of these, 50 and 50. And this is a giant bullet. I thought I opened that package. No, I guess I didn't. This is a giant bullet, and it's the FTX design with that flat point. So I'm hoping for good things. They expand really down nice and slow. So I'm hoping for some good things with those. We'll push it with Trail Boss powder, and we'll see what we can get. Over here, I'll bring it in the camera, you can't see it. I grabbed 2 boxes of the 140 grain FTX. Now I worked with these a while ago, and I chose to use up what I had in the 350 Legend. If you remember back to the beginning videos of mine with the Legend, there was a lot of problems with those first Full Metal Jacket 147 grain bullets. The brass was long, and they were spiking pressures, and there was big problems with the ammo. So I didn't trust it. I had bought a couple of what they called mini bricks, 5 boxes, 250 rounds. I think it was 250 rounds. Anyway, whatever it was, 10 boxes, whatever it was. It was Full Metal Jacket, and they were cheap. I just wanted the brass. So I bought a couple of bricks, mini bricks they call them, and I pulled everything. I weighed all the powder, and then I used these 140 grain FTXs. I ran them through the Lee push-through sizer because they're 357, and I ran them through a couple times and got them down to 355, 355.5, and I loaded them over top of a couple of tenths less powder than they use for those 147 Full Metal Jackets. Figure in there 7 grains lighter. The bearing surface is different, so any different is different. So you want to be careful with your pressures when you do those things. You don't really know where you are and what's going on. So I dropped it down a few tenths and loaded the bullet. And wow, was I given an accurate loading. Those bullets shot great. We did some testing. My buddy has ability to do wet gel and wet newsprint and stuff. So he fired these in his maximum, which is the same velocity range, up to about 2,000 feet per second. And the darn things held together. So this is a really good bullet for moderate velocities out of the Harriet or the Maximum, or the Harriet and the Maximum in pistol barrels, where your velocity comes down because of the shorter barrel. So that's where we're going to use these. I'm going to use these in the Harriet and the Maximum, probably the Harriet more. I've also got 158 XTP flat points coming with those Sierra bullets. They haven't arrived yet. So I'll have those for the Maximum. So we got quite a bit of jacketed fodder here. And the last bullet on the table are these 165 Grand Slams. I've got 2 more boxes of these the old plastic boxes over on the shelf, but they're buried. I didn't dig them out. So I've got 200 or just shy of 200 of these. And if I zoom out over here, right over here is 100 Federal fully prepped, annealed, trimmed, sized, cleaned, ready to go pieces of brass. 3006. What are we going to do? Well, we got a new rifle coming. Not brand new. My brother thought of me. He picked it up for a song. It was missing some parts. He looked into replacing them, and there was a little more money than he was willing to spend. And he knew I had some other resources and parts and things, so he reached out to me to see if I could possibly make use of this. So I said, yes, absolutely. So he sent it out to my FFL. I went over and did the paperwork, picked it up, and now I'm just looking through everything. I've got almost everything I need, minus a couple of pins and screws, which I'm sourcing locally from a guy who's got everything more than I do. And he's just elderly, and he's got the stuff in a warehouse, so with this cold weather, he doesn't go out. So I've got to wait for nicer, warmer weather so that he can get out there and dig through the boxes. Now, he's been out to his place a couple of times, and he hasn't located it yet, but he's narrowed it down to a certain area. He knows he's got it. I know he's got it. So it's just a matter of him locating it. So once he gets that, I will introduce you to that rifle. But over here, I've got a set of bases set up for that. And we are going to put this Hawk Vantage 30 something or other. It is a 3 to 12, 30 millimeter tube, 56 millimeter objective. This was on my 6.5 Grendel, and I took it off to move over because the length of the tube was such, it was better for the long action than the scope that I had for the 3006. The one I had for the 3006 was also a 3, I think it's a 3 to 15 actually. This is a 3 to 12. 3 to 15, 44 millimeter. But it had a shorter tube through this center section. So my ring spacing, 3006 is a long action. 6.5 Grendel is miniature. So there was no worries with the length of the tube for the Grendel. And they're virtually the same, minus the objective diameter. And this new 06 has a 24-inch barrel. So the bigger tube, the bigger scope overall is going to look better on a bigger gun than it does on that small little, svelte, light little Grendel. So it was a natural. So that scope is on the Grendel. It just needs to be sighted in. I got some other things going on with that, so I haven't done that yet. But this scope, along with these bases, are going on that new Winchester. I also have a set of brand new action screws. Any of you who've bought a Winchester recently, it's a stainless gun, knows that they come with Phillips screws to hold the action in. And to me, that just looks cheesy, cheap. I don't like it. So I looked around on the internet and I found a company that made screws because everybody was out of stock. And they made me up the 3 action screws for the Winchester Model 70. Now this is a Winchester Model 70 classic stainless claw extractor. So it's a controlled feed rifle. And it's in okay shape. It's been knocked around a little bit. I got it cleaned up pretty good. It doesn't look like it's been fired a whole lot. There is not bases on it, scope bases, and it doesn't look like there ever was. And it doesn't have sights. So if it was fired, it was just test fired. It wasn't shot or hunted or anything because there's no sights on it. So basically it's a new rifle that just got hung around, beat around. It's not. I thought at first it was a Walmart rifle, but it's not. It's a nicer, classic stainless claw feed Winchester. I did date it. I don't remember the date we come up with. 80s, I think, 90s. I don't remember. I don't remember. When we get it and we go through it, we'll look it all up and we'll check it all out. So we got that coming up. So I got 100 pieces of brass going to be dedicated for that rifle. I'm going to build up some loads. It's going to be a hunting rifle. And I believe I'm going to build up some loads around these Grand Slams. I do have some other bullets in the 165s, so we may start with those. Maybe I'll start with those same 168 Full Metal Jackets or match bullets just to get close, because the weight is not far off and we can tailor. So that might be a good one to get started as a fodder that doesn't matter so much. Now, these weren't expensive, but they are premium bullets, so I'd rather not just shoot them up to shoot them up. If we're going to launch something that paper to sight in and just to have fun, I just assume it'd be a bullet that I don't care about. So, but we'll broach that when we get there. So, like I said, that's what's going on. We got 450 Bushmaster stuff. We've got 3006 stuff. We've got 3006 stuff for an older project. We got 357 Harriet and 357 Maximum, and we've got 30 Harriet and 300 Hammer stuff going on. Last thing on the bench is just a set of rings. I got that Hornet barrel that I bought with the action on the last Contender. You watched that video, or if you didn't, it's coming up shortly. And I've got a set of old Bushnell rings on it. And all of my Contenders that have Weaver style bases have these Burris rings. So I just grabbed this set off of Amazon really quick. So I just got to mount them. But the gun is sighted in with the rings it's got, so I would like to take it out coyote hunting. So I'm not going to just take them off and do it. To do it, we're having some bad weather this week, so it's going to be at least a week before I can get to the range. So there's no reason to disable that barrel when it's sighted in and ready to go. So that's that. I have one more Burris scope coming that I'm waiting for. Just the shipping has been really wacky, so I should get it pretty soon. It's identical scope to this, 2 3/4 power Burris. Found it at a guy online, and it's probably going to go on the next barrel that's coming that I'm going to leave as a surprise. We got a barrel coming for the Contender. Still working with that, so we don't know exactly what's going on there yet, but I believe it's going to happen, and leave it as a surprise. So next video, maybe we'll talk about that. So there we go. We got 17 minutes here, and I just talked about stuff. Didn't really show you anything other than that. Told you some directions we're going, so hopefully I found something that piques your interest. Just a reminder, Friday nights, Georgia Shooting Connection. We do a chat, 8 o'clock. Tune in, watch us. Come on over, see what's going on. A lot of times we have a topic. Sometimes we have part of a topic. All the time, we listen to you guys in the side chat. So if you got something you want to hear, talk about, learn, know, see what we know, quiz us. I don't care. Come on over. It's a good time. We have a Bible verse reading at the end. Usually a whole bunch of good guys. Come on in and join us. We'd love to see you, love to make friends, and see what you got to offer. See if you like, the way we do a show. It's pretty good, pretty laid back. It's just 2 hours. Friday nights, 8 to 10, the Georgia Shooting Connection channel. Alrighty. God bless everybody. CW out.